I'm super excited. Y'all, we still got grapes up here. You know my need to know is strong. Listen, I don't feel like doing it, but it looks terrible in here. Where y'all living at getting snow already? Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia, and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. And today, y'all, we're going on a garden tour. I'm so excited. The garden is still looking really good. It made it through our first freeze. We got down to 29 degrees. It made it through, and honestly, I don't know. Somebody left a comment and they said they got to freezing, but because of the wind, nothing froze, right? I'm kind of feeling like that's what happened here. It was windy the night that it froze, and so nothing seems to have been bothered. And I forgot to take the black beans out. So if you're new here, before I get into what I have, because some people are new here. If you're new here, I am in Virginia, Zone 7B. I garden in ground. I grow in raised beds, bags, no dig, and green stalks. Oh, and I always forget to say a greenhouse. I also have a greenhouse. We just added a new one, still working on the build, but yeah, super excited for that. But what I'm saying is I'm not sure that things actually froze for me, but we're gonna look through the garden. And so we're gonna start in the main garden because y'all, we have so much broccoli. I know it's kind of late and I'm always gonna say it. If you still have time, try to grow a fall garden, y'all. Fall gardening is easy. I just watered, but guess what? I didn't water nothing. I used the sprinkler. It's an easy time for gardening and you get really good, nutritious crops. You do too in summer too, but at the same time, like, it's such an easy time to garden. So we're gonna start in the main garden and come back to the green stock garden and then come back to the greenhouse garden. That's what I'm calling it now. So as you know, we have our door and our welcome sign. I love it. Guess what, y'all? I just thought about it when I was telling y'all about this. We finally have a logo and a t-shirt design. I'm super excited. So it's still gonna be a while, more than likely, before I do merch because I have to learn how to use Shopify and I have to learn how to use Printify and all of that stuff to get it set up. But we finally have a logo and I absolutely love it, y'all. I can't wait to show y'all. Anyway, let's do this tour. So the grapes pretty much done. When I say done, they're perennial. They're gonna come back next year, but all of the leaves are almost gone and all we have is sticks. It honestly would be a perfect time for me to try to clean this up a little bit, but I probably won't. Also, once I move this sitting area here, I realize the grapes will be able to run a little bit more. So I'm excited to see what that looks like next year. And when I say clean it up, I really don't know what that means, honestly. I feel like I cut a few of the branches that's just kind of hanging out, but I really don't do anything to my grapevines anyway, but they get very wild in the summer if you're new here. So maybe try to tame it a little bit because grapevines should be pruned in order to keep it from getting wild. I didn't do that. I haven't done it in years, and so I don't know if I can get this grapevine under control. But for me, I absolutely love the way that it grows on this trellis in the summertime. So we might do something with it, but we might not. Y'all, the broccoli is doing so good, right? So the broccoli in the bags were planted out later than the broccoli in the beds, but I'm gonna show y'all the broccoli in the beds. They were planted out later. We didn't plant it all at the same time, but we do have that broccoli head that I've shown y'all a couple of times getting bigger and bigger in the bags. This is a green Goliath broccoli, and I have one broccoli plant to a 7-gallon bag. Seems to be working well. I've never tried growing 2. There is one bag in here that has 2, but that's because I made a mistake and planted it that way. So I will show y'all that the plants are growing fine. Whether they're gonna have enough nutrients to produce a head being 2 in a bag, I do not know, but we'll keep track of that. But like, yeah, the broccoli is doing really good in the bag. So we'll definitely be growing broccoli in bags from here on out because I want to be able to save hopefully a year's worth of broccoli between the fall garden and the spring garden. I want to be able to save enough broccoli to get us to the next time I plant broccoli, which will be next fall. So in spring, we're going to plant broccoli again and we're going to harvest this broccoli, eat it. hopefully preserve it. And we'll have broccoli during the summer next year because in Virginia, you cannot grow broccoli in the summer. It would just straight go to bolt. So we're gonna move this way today just because I'm super excited. Y'all, first of all, look at that nasturtium. Nasturtium said, I'm here. I want to be seen. And with hardly any pest pressure. Nasturtiums like to grow in cooler temperatures. We got flowers down there, if y'all can see them. They like to grow in cooler temperatures. They can grow in the summer, but they grow much better in the cooler seasons. But y'all, broccoli everywhere. Like that's a broccoli right there. We got another broccoli right there. Small broccoli heads here, but these plants have been shaded. So I expected that they wouldn't produce as quick or as early as the ones in front of them. But I'm very excited because the point is, my whole point was I want to get my broccoli in fall. That is going to happen. And so I'll leave these plants through the winter, see if I get side shoots. Because last year, my side shoots fed me. Like we had side shoots, I want to say up until the end of January, because we did also get a whole bunch of cold snaps. But those broccoli side shoots fed us for a while. I'm very, very excited about seeing what it's gonna do this year. The grapevine was all over me, so I was just moving it. And then of course, kohlrabi, one of my absolute favorite vegetables for the fall. Look at that kohlrabi right there, y'all. Can you see it? That thing is big. I had some kohlrabi yesterday because I made a video and I wanted to harvest it because it was pretty big. But there's a lot of pretty big kohlrabi in here. I planted. I never really talk about how I plant. I use the square foot method for most things, right? But this year, I will say with my broccoli, those beds, the block beds, are 4 by 7. And so I could have gotten 4 plants across in each row. But I decided to do 3 plants across in each row because broccoli are heavy feeders. A lot of the fall vegetables are very heavy feeders. And so I think that I like this better. While I'm planting less, I think I'm gonna get a better crop just because they had enough room. I also fertilized every week with fish emulsion. From the time I put them in until probably 2 weeks ago, I've been fertilizing weekly with fish emulsion. And I amended the beds with like compost, meal grinds, organic granulated fertilizer. I put quite a bit of things in the bed because I was remembering back to my first year doing a fall garden, which by the way, I had told y'all I didn't do a fall garden my first year gardening. I went back in Instagram because I was bored the other night and I actually did do a fall garden. I only had like 2 beds or maybe 3 beds, but I did do a fall garden. So I fall gardened from 2020 until now. Anyway, I thought back to that and I said, what did you do your first year? Because you had a great harvest your first year. And so I reverted back to that this year and it has really, really worked. So I'm just kind of panning so y'all can see. It has worked out well for me. You see a lot of green, but there's also a lot of the actual vegetable that I'm trying to get. Because I said it before, I don't eat the broccoli leaves and people are saying they taste, you know, the same. I don't like them. But so you're seeing that and they are edible. So if you want to eat the broccoli leaves, you can. But I'm going for the broccoli and we're actually getting nice broccoli heads, y'all. I'm very excited. Let's get back. I can get to talking and we all know that. So y'all, look how much the purple sprouting broccoli has grown since we moved it and it's getting enough sun. It looks really good. I cannot wait until next spring. Hopefully we don't get anything cold enough where, you know, like we don't get the harvest. But I'm very, very excited. Also, pretty sure at this point that this is a collard. This is the plant that I thought was a broccoli, and then when it started growing, I was like, that is not broccoli. I'm pretty sure it's a collard. Maybe Top Bunch 2.0. All right, so all of my bags have been amended and put to bed for the year. All of the bags are 7-gallon bags. Some of them are from Amazon, some of them are from Bootstrap Farmer. These pretty purple ones are from Bootstrap Farmer. The black ones are from Amazon. They're always linked in my description at this point. But do y'all remember the meal grind bed? I always talk about the meal grind bed because I was nervous and then other people were nervous and then other people were saying like all compost isn't good compost. And we have broccoli heads. This is Green Magic broccoli here. The Green Magic broccoli seems to be, of all the varieties I tried, it is the earliest variety. Like I said, we have one green Goliath that's showing up, but pretty much all of, I don't even want to say pretty much, all of the Green Magic have heads on them now. So it's definitely the earliest maturing of the varieties that I have, which will probably make it the variety that I plant next year, because I need it to be an early maturing variety in order to get the harvest in fall. But we also have a Green Goliath here. This is the same bed, so we do have it. It just matures slower. There's another one right there too. And then the ones in the back were shaded. So I'm not expecting to actually see any broccoli heads on them right now because they had a hard time getting started. They were shaded by the Green Magic. So they're all Green Magic in the back behind the Green Magic too. So it doesn't have anything to do with the variety. It's the fact that they were shaded. So next year, maybe I will plant broccoli in this bed in the back and maybe kohlrabi in the front, or cabbage, something like that. Now the cabbage, once we go to the cabbage bed, I'll show you what I mean. I need the cabbage on a bed that has drip irrigation. Y'all, we still got grapes up here. Look, I did not notice that. Look, there's still grapes in here. That is funny. There must have been the smaller ones that I didn't pick. I don't know, that's funny. I hadn't noticed that. And I also didn't look this year to see if we had any praying mantis sacks. I have to look for that too. Also, it's very windy. I have the mic under my shirt today, so I hope it's not too windy. So right beside those Green Goliath are the DICICCO variety. Now, they were shaded by a green stalk, and so I'm definitely not seeing any broccoli heads in here, but what I am seeing is that the plants are getting bigger. So we'll definitely leave those. We'll see what happens with them over the fall and the winter. If I'm lucky, I'll still get a harvest. If I'm not, then I won't. Oh, by the way, y'all, this is very much given all over the place. But so listen, I haven't really been out here that much because it's been cold to me. It's not warm right now to me, but the sun is out, so I can deal with it. So I'm going through this with y'all because I really haven't been out here that much myself. But what I wanted to show y'all is that green stalk. The plants are getting much better in here. So y'all remember, this is the one I had to plant out again because a lot of stuff died. So we have broccoli up here. This is a broccoli plant, Destiny broccoli, and this is a cabbage. What kind of cabbage is this? Let's see, y'all. It's a flat Dutch cabbage up here. But if you've been around and watched this whole thing, these plants are getting a lot better. And then we got bok choy popping up down here. We still have the lettuce, so that made it through the freeze. Same thing with the spinach, and then we have more plants down here. So this green stalk is starting to look a lot better than it did a week or two ago, honestly. And it could be because we're cooling down and they just really like to grow in this weather, even though they slow down a little bit. We also have some kale down here, curly kale, some lettuce. It's beautiful. So I'm very happy to see this green stalk is starting to bounce back. By the way, when we were over here looking at that broccoli, I'm so excited. I completely forgot to mention the tree collards in the back. You know, that's the one that's been here for a while. But even the ones down here starting to grow real nicely. And I put stakes in them just so that when they start to get taller, the stake will already be there and I can easily stake it up. So yeah, they're looking good. By the way, somebody asked me to show what I do with the asparagus bed. I haven't done it yet because the ferns haven't all died back. Once they all die back, I'll come out here and basically all I do is put compost over the top and cover it with straw or some kind of mulch so that the compost doesn't get eroded, so there's no runoff during the cold seasons when it rains and snows and stuff. And that's pretty much all I do. But when I do it, I will absolutely show it. But anyway, I like to show this bed just because I had done a reel about this and I was nervous because the meal grinds were hot. Like when I was digging in to plant these, the soil was warm. So let me stop saying hot. It's warm. And I was concerned that it would burn the roots of the plants, but it did not. And meal tells you that you should put it in and let it sit for a few weeks. I just ran out of time and I didn't get to do that. And I think it had only been in the bed for a few days. And so I just want to make sure I let people know that I'm not telling anybody to do it. What I'm saying is it didn't hurt my plants, and my plants are growing well. They were not planted at the same time as the broccoli over here, so I don't expect the broccoli to be the same size, but it is producing broccoli, and we love that for me. I have not harvested any of the collards yet, only because Thanksgiving is coming up and I would like to harvest it the week of Thanksgiving to give it to my auntie. She loves some collards. She also cooks on Thanksgiving. So I haven't harvested any of these yet, but I will, because I also want some collards. But when I do harvest them, I won't be taking the whole plant out. I'll be pulling leaves from the bottom, leaving the plant, like leaving these top leaves so that they can continue to grow, but everything around it, I'll harvest those and they'll continue to grow. That is a process called cut and come again, and that's the way that I plan to harvest my my collards. So look at that. I don't know if y'all can see it through there, but we got a flower on that pea. Yeah, you can see it right there. Like, that's funny to me. Those peas were shaded, and there's actually peas all the way down this trellis, but the collards started growing way faster than I expected and got way bigger than I expected. This is another bed that I fertilize the whole garden with fish emulsion every week. And so I think that's why everything is so big and growing so well, which I'm definitely not complaining about. And I have made that note in my head that when you do fall planting, make sure you fertilize every week, because this has worked out really well for me this year. I'm also very surprised, and I don't want to speak too early, that this didn't get a whole bunch of pest pressure, because the white cabbage moth was everywhere this year. And these plants in this bed just did not have a lot of pest pressure. Also, those tomatoes that volunteered, this is why I also say I don't think we got a really hard frost. They are still alive. Now, I do think that having all of these plants around them probably helped with them staying warm. Also, I always say I think my microclimate is different because I have my privacy fence, because the house is right in front of it. So I think that it's a little bit warmer back here. I should get a thermometer to test that theory. But anyway, right now that is what I think. So I think that when other people are getting frost, I probably don't get it because of the microclimate. Let's move on. The garlic still looks good. I have not planted this side, y'all. Like I said, it's been cold. I was like, I'm not coming out here. So I need to get this side planted. I think I'm gonna take this weekend to just spend some time in the garden. Kind of need it anyway. Like, I got a whole situation going on where I need to get some clarity on it. And when I'm back here by myself, I can get clarity and move forward. So I kind of need to do by myself, no recording type thing. But what I was gonna say is, while I'm doing that, that'll be part of what I do this weekend while I'm getting clarity, is get the rest of my garlic planted out. So that if for whatever reason it just gets cold, my whole garden will be planted, because garlic is the last thing I need to plant anyway. But what I was saying was, this garlic still looks really good. I'm pretty happy about it. I just watered, so some stuff is kind of laying over, but it looks really good to me. I planted this out in September. I always like to say that for myself and for other people. These Brussels sprouts, I am seeing little Brussels sprouts. Do y'all see it? So these are, in fact, Long Island improved Brussels sprouts. They just look different. The leaves look different. I was expecting them to look more like these. These are Groninger Brussels sprouts. Look at that. This is the earliest I have ever gotten Brussels sprouts to start forming on my plants. And I am so excited, y'all. I am so excited. I just feel like when I had the time to pay attention, had the time to like think about what the plants actually needed, I feel like this is what's helping me to get earlier harvest, to have healthy plants, all of that. I really do. So the Brussels sprout bed is still looking rough from the pest pressure, which I am pretty sure is slugs and snails, but it's also producing. I also think that the Long Island improved are going to produce later than the Groninger, because like I said, the Groninger already have them, but that plant just looks so sad. Look how skinny the plant is, y'all. It's like super skinny, but it's producing Brussels sprouts already, so I'm cool with that. I think like 2 weeks ago, I went ahead and added some granulated fertilizer. Now, granulated fertilizer breaks down over time, so these plants are not getting fed more than likely from that fertilizer, but I can also go back and give them some fish emulsion, because while we're cold in the evening, it is decently warm-ish. I don't know it's not warm to me, but for the plants, it's fine. So I feel like I can still fertilize them right now because my soil has not frozen yet. So I will continue to fertilize the Brussels sprouts because I know that they're very heavy feeders. I'll continue to fertilize the collards. They're very heavy feeders. I have stopped fertilizing the kohlrabi and the broccoli because they just don't seem to need it. And so with that being said, we're going to see how that works out because they're growing really well without fertilizer. And then to the carrot bed. You remember I told y'all I was going to re-sow this section? I never did. I'm not going to. We're going to see what we get out of this carrot bed. This bed is also under a tree. And so with that being said, it really doesn't look like there's a lot of carrots in here. The leaves are falling, which is pushing the foliage down, but we're not going to worry about it. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, I have looked down here. There are absolutely carrots growing. Can y'all see that? Look at that. That's one right there. I don't know if y'all can see it, but the carrots are growing. I am excited. I am controlling my need to know though. That is the only space I've dug in. If you're not new here, you know my need to know is strong, especially with like potatoes and root vegetables, but I'm controlling it this year. The blueberry cuttings are still here. They're not dead, so I'm excited about that. The St. John's wort still looks good. Like I said, everything is covered in leaves over here. This beet, I'm leaving it. I want it to go to seed, and so it hasn't yet, but maybe in the spring, but I'm just leaving it. And then the what do you call these things, the elderberry, I'm leaving this stick just because it's not dead. I think I scratched it the other day and it's not dead. Yeah, see, I don't know if y'all can see it on camera, it's green, so I'm leaving it. Maybe it'll start growing again. All the leaves died off of it though, I tell you that. So we'll see what happens. Another reason why I don't think we had like a real frost in my backyard is because the beans are still here and the beans are still growing. Like they did not die. Like this one looks weird, but I think it's just stuck in between something. And we got a little bit, but that could just be, you know, damage from it being old. But maybe we did get a little bit, because you see that? We might have got a little bit of a frost. Yeah, so it's okay. They still growing and they are not mushy or anything. So I'm leaving these until, until the frost kills them, honestly, because what I like to do with my beans at this point is to leave them on the plant and not clear them until spring, because once the bean falls into the ground, I get volunteers and I don't have to plant bean seeds. So we're gonna leave those two just like we did the beans on that trellis over here, because last year I did not have to plant one bean. I moved them, but they all volunteered. So that is my plan with this trellis as well. Up under the beans are more collards. These are cabbage collards here. Always say it, I have no idea what these are. That's a cabbage collard as well. Oh, by the way, I didn't replant no lettuce, but look, we have lettuce again. So that's really cool. And I also didn't come and mulch nothing either, which is a whole entire mess. I still got time. It might be on my list of things to do this weekend while I'm out here. So the Georgia Southern collards back here, getting bigger every day. Looking amazing. This might be a bed that I continue to fertilize as well, but they get shaded. So that's why they're not growing as quick as everything else, because they do get shaded, and I know that. And it's okay, because collards, you're eating it for the leaves, so even if the leaves don't get humongous, it's still gonna be edible. So I'm not worrying about that, y'all. So down here we have more broccoli in bags, and so this is a Godzilla, y'all. I've been really watching this. When I do come outside, I come to look because I'm very interested in what kind of broccoli head we're gonna get. If it's a big one, if it produces really late, I don't know, but I'm watching it, I really am. Also, more green magic. They're everywhere, absolutely everywhere, y'all. There goes another one right there. Literally all the plants have a broccoli head in it, and I'm very excited. And so somebody asked me, when did I start my fall seeds? I said I would try to go back and figure it out, but I think I started my fall seeds in June or July because I knew I planned to plant them out the first week of September. I am sorry that I do not actually remember. And down here, y'all remember the really late planted Swiss chard that was small and we didn't take care of the seedlings? Looking good. And a nasturtium over there, looking good. And I don't think that we're gonna get much out of the calendula, but we might end up getting it in the spring. So we'll see, I don't know. But something I'm super excited about, y'all. My cabbage is heading up with a tight head. It's not just heading up with a loose head, because that's what has happened to me in previous years. It's been a very loose head. This year, it's a very tight head. Can you hear that? I'm so excited. And there's another one right here. Oh, I'm so excited, y'all. Even that one that was getting eaten up really bad, that's getting a tight head. And I'm so excited because I really think that I'm gonna get cabbage this year. I have a friend who loves cabbage. Her grandfather used to garden and he grew cabbage and she loved it. And so she's like, I really need a cabbage from the garden. So I'm excited for her too, because in previous years I told her, like, I just can't grow cabbage like I do it every year. So very excited. Now we still have beans over here too. Look, but we also have the first set of beans. So this is from the spring, and then these just volunteered, and so now they're growing in fall. So that is my plan with beans, is just to always leave them on the trellis, let them fall and let them volunteer. Y'all, we have our green stalks over here. This one has garlic in it, but planted in October, so recently planted. So I don't expect to see much going on in there. This one doesn't have anything in it because I haven't planted it. Well, it had, I want to say, leeks in it, but they didn't do well, and that was because of me. Pretty sure of that. So that is going to either be bok choy and garlic or just garlic. I haven't really decided because the bok choy seedlings are very small, and I just don't know if it's even worth it for me to move them. Maybe I'll move some of them and leave some of them. I don't know. But before we leave out of here, it's very hard for me to get down this aisle right now. But before we leave out of here, I want to show you, these are the two plants, this one right here and this one right here, that are growing in the same bags. I don't see a broccoli head on either one of them, but we'll see how it goes. And if this works, then I'll start growing 2 broccolis in 1 7-gallon bag, but I'm not really sure if that's gonna work or not. I did not do it on purpose. I was planting out and did not realize that I had already planted it, and it had a basil in the middle when I originally planted them. So I just didn't know. That's another broccoli head right there. Another one right here. And do y'all remember there was a broccoli that was really small when we put it in? I thought I was gonna have to pull it. That's it. That's that plant right there. And so my goal for broccoli is definitely looking like it might work, and I'm actually very happy. So that's the main garden tour. Let's go look at these green stalks. And y'all, I'm gonna tell you now, the greenhouse, the quick tent greenhouse, the pests are still in there. I'm not gonna cover, so I know somebody's gonna say you should cover them. I'm not gonna do it. My thought is that will be a later harvest for me, because the pests are going to die when it gets cold enough. And then these are cold hardy plants that's inside of a structure. So I don't think that they will die. I think they'll be fine and they'll bounce back, and then I will get a later harvest of them. So I'm not worried about it, but I do want to let y'all know it looked terrible in there. But also, the roses still look amazing. And this is from the other side. You can tell we might have got some frost on these roses, but they still look amazing. See? That's why I think maybe we did get some frost on the roses. I still have not come out here and cut these trees yet, prune these trees, but I am going to, because never wanted them to be this big. I think I tell y'all that every time. But the problem is, I don't want to go in there. I'm waiting for everything to kind of die back so it'll be easier for me to get in there. And that just hasn't happened yet. All right, so the citrus is in the greenhouse, and I did not get the painter's tarp because I forgot. In my years where I did cover, I had frost blankets. So these were like pushed down in a box. So I just grabbed these out of the box, and that is what I cover these with. This one, I feel like it's looking more yellow again now. I have no idea. That's a blood orange, y'all. But they're all in the greenhouse now. And I'm feeling happy with this so far because they look good. I do need to water them. But right now, that is where they're going to live. During the day, I leave the door open. In the evenings, I come and I close it. I still haven't fixed this because I think it's okay for now. But when we get down to like, 20s, I'm going to need to really get that closed. So I'm going to work on that maybe this weekend too. I have lots of plans for the weekend where I do plan to be out here for a good portion of the day, most of the weekend. All right, so the blueberry green stalk is still looking crazy. But I will say the plants are starting to look a little bit better. These are onions. That I didn't really take care of when I started them. So they are started from seed, but they just not looking that great. Also, this green stalk is tilted. So I need to tilt it over, and all I really do right now is I put a stick or something under it to level it. Next spring, I am planting to put pavers under it, but I don't feel the need to right now. Listen, I don't feel like doing it. That's the answer. It's not that I don't see the need. I do see the need. I don't feel like doing it right now. Look at this, y'all. Strawberries just confused. Look, that's a flowering strawberry. They confused with our weather, but that's Virginia weather for you. Back here, this is the pink green stalk. It's looking good, but my goodness, the pests are also over here. I come out, and I didn't in the last few days, but I come out in the morning and try to find any pest on this green stalk because this is one that they are really eating up. So I'm trying to pull this leaf off. Sorry, y'all. You can see all of the leaves that's been eaten because they are all over it. But then if you turn it, these look fine. I don't understand how the pests decide what they want to eat on. I know somebody is going to say, if it's an unhealthy seedling, all of these seedlings were the same when I put them in for the most part. And so for whatever reason, some of them are getting eaten, some of them are not. But look, this curly kale is so pretty up here. I think it's gonna look so nice when everything starts to grow really big over here in this pink green stalk. This is one that I kind of had to plant out later because we still had tomatoes in it. It's still looking good. It's getting pretty full. One of my favorites is this purple green stalk. It's actually called blackberry. It's no longer available on the Greenstock website at this point, but look at this celery. This is my first year growing celery. I will probably always grow it at the bottom because there are 3 of them in here and they're all doing really well at the bottom. I hope y'all can see. But over here, you have a lot of lettuce. We're gonna start eating this because it's definitely about to bolt. Oh, look at the spider. Remember I told y'all spiders just kind of live here? I kind of knock them down because I don't want to run into that. In the Lacinato kale, you can tell we need to start eating it. I was waiting for a frost, but the lower leaves are starting to die. So we definitely need to start eating this stuff, whether we get a frost or we don't. But it's doing absolutely amazing, y'all. That's the other side of it. Can you see it? I love green stalks. At this point, I have 12. I purchased my first green stalk this year. I want to say in May or June. I am affiliated with them now. So if you want one, you can look down in my description for a link and you can get $10 off a $75 purchase. But, and they're about to start their Black Friday deals, y'all. What I'm saying is I absolutely love them, y'all. I mean, next year, because I know I keep saying I might let that garden rest. I don't know if anybody believed that, but what I was gonna say is next year I could plant that whole thing with broccoli and then everything else in the green stalks because this seems to be working really well so far. We haven't gotten in the winter yet, but so far, it's working out really well. That spider web is stuck on my finger and then I just threw my ring, y'all. Hold on. I like to wear some of my rings up here. I almost stuck that finger up. And then they just kind of fly off. Anyway, back to the garden tour. Our other blackberry, look at the onions. Y'all told me to cut the onions. I cannot be more grateful to y'all for saying, Asia, just cut the onions, give them a trim. They are looking so good. Are they as big as I would like them to be or look as healthy? No, not yet, but I think that they will be eventually. And I'm still fertilizing these with fish emulsion as well. Our green stalk over here has just started to take off. We had to move this one. And surprisingly, we did not break a thing. Look at those collards. This is a collard growing in there. And I'm still fertilizing all of the green stalks, honestly, with fish emulsion, just because there is no other way for them to get nutrients or to get fertilized. But that green one just started taking off, y'all. It looks so good. Then we have another lemon one, has strawberries in it and onions and shallots, but they don't look that great. And we got a bunch of empty pockets. Garlic will go in any of the empty pockets. And then we have the newest one, it's called Snow. And we have like kale seedlings in here. We have lettuce seedlings in here, Swiss chard. There's a bunch of different seedlings. I have thyme and oregano at the top. Like, that's not oregano. I have no idea what that is. It is something. It looks like a kale. I'll let it grow. And then in the spring, if I don't get anything, I'll just replant the oregano in the house and the thyme in the house. But we'll see. So yeah, we got curly kale, we got some lettuce, more lettuce, Swiss chard is coming in here. If you didn't see my video with all the changes, that's going into the chicken area in the summer. So that's why I planted it so heavy. It also needs to be watered because I just want it to be a spot where the chickens can come and eat some fresh vegetables without me having to come out here and give it to them. And the herb green stalk looks amazing. Look at those pretty pansies in there, y'all. They look so pretty. Purple is my favorite color if you're new here. But the yarrow is like so beautiful. I think it's just a beautiful plant, y'all. I'm pretty sure this is, can't remember the name of it. I can't remember. This parsley is looking really good. We got sage growing in here, more yarrow. These are parsley too. There's some cilantro somewhere in here too. Oh, and these chives, I still ain't cut these chives, y'all. That's my own fault. I saved a lot of chives in oil and in butter, but these chives grow so fast. And they grow really fast in this green stalk. I imagine they would grow really fast in the ground. And someone had told me like they don't like the sun, so I should have put them down lower. They seem to be doing really good, so I'm not planning on moving them. But that herb green stalk is beautiful. I keep talking about it. It's just so full and beautiful. Oh yeah, there's rosemary down at the bottom too. I said I was probably gonna move that just because rosemary doesn't like a lot of moisture. But I think, in my experience, that the bottom stays moister than the upper tiers. That's just my experience, what I've noticed in my green stalk. And then you have the black green stalk that has shallots in it. They don't look amazing, but I'm also still fertilizing them as well. So as the time goes on, we'll see how well these things do. But the fact that they didn't die like the leeks, I'm excited. Now, what I will tell you about the leeks that was in the peppercorn, for one, I think I was overwatering. And when you plant leeks, or at least when I plant leeks, I plant them really deep so that I can get a lot of the white, the part that you really use leeks for. And I think that they rotted. That's it. And that's my own fault. But I'll know for next year. Update on the lavender. It still looks good. And we are getting new growth. So very excited about that. I think this is going to be really nice next year. I think that it's getting its footing now. And I took the corks out of this Vigo Easy Cube because it's self-watering, but lavender doesn't like a lot of moisture. So I don't even leave it in there anymore. And pretty little pansies. I love a purple flower. I love a purple anything. Let's go look in this greenhouse, y'all. This the last pot. I saved it for the last because, baby, it looks horrible in here. Also, that lavender bed, I'm going to move it right here where the quail were eventually, because that's gonna be a lot to move. Anyway, baby, it still look the same as it always does. And every time the plants start to grow, look at that. Every time they start to grow, the new leaves are getting eaten up by the caterpillar. The white moth caterpillar. There go another one. Every time they start to try to grow, that's what happens. Another one right there. I have not been out here this morning, which is why we picking these together. But yeah, like OMG, there go another one. And this is all I do. So when people say, how do you keep them off? I don't keep them off, I just take them off. So when I see them, I take them off. I do not cover. It's more work for me. These are broccoli. Now the broccoli don't seem to be getting eaten up as much as the other stuff, but it's also not growing that fast. And I will say, I think that's because we don't get a lot of sun in here, but I think in spring we will. But also, do y'all remember we planted peas? They're starting to come up. They're gonna go up this trellis right here. And then back here, you remember, we've been trying, y'all. We've been trying, but it is just not working. They are eating up these plants in here. Also, still ain't harvested that parsley. It's still growing though. By the way, the roselle is still growing in here. So you can tell though, we got something going on with them, but it might have been from the frost. I'm really not sure. But the ones that are touching this greenhouse, if we did get a frost, it did not bother them. But I'm gonna have to see, like when we really get a frost and I know we got a frost. These plants down here look terrible. They look terrible, but guess what, y'all? We still got tomatoes growing in here. And those are ripening. This one actually fell over, so it's kind of bent, but it's still growing. Look at all these tomatoes, y'all. That's crazy. Here's a patio variety. I saved these seeds. I didn't look to see if they were a hybrid yet, but I did save those seeds because they did amazing in this greenhouse. We got cabbage right here. I also think I need to water in here, which is fine. I'll get it. And we still got tomatoes growing on this patio tomato too. So definitely will be growing tomatoes and still flowering. Like what? I think it's so cool, y'all. I did close the greenhouse the night that I thought we were gonna have a freeze. So I did close that too. That's probably got something to do with it. But we're still growing tomatoes. We're still growing roselle, which is crazy to me. That's just crazy to me. But anyway, that's the garden tour for today. And I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I hope that your gardens are doing well. I know a lot of people have gotten frost and snow already. I can't deal with it. Like, I could not. Where y'all living at getting snow already? Tell me where y'all living at. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all.